Well, hopefully they can see Selectmen tribunal.
Hi, Richard. So now we're just missing Emery.
It's you in a while.
Yeah.
Good.
Hi,
Hi,
kids.
Jim. How are you?
I sent you copies of these guys.
What is it?
And the links are good enough.
What is this for?
I want to talk to the board about this.
Oh, so you want me to make copies?
I don't
So
think
Jim?
I don't think it's necessary, but they'll have the links, and if you
Okay.
share this,
Post after the meeting?
yeah, that's
Okay.
fine. I
Great.
hate to waste paper.
No
so
worries. Okay.
That's for me.
Okay. So you'll either mail that to me or.
Actually, I have.
Okay.
I already have. So if anybody wants to.
Okay. I didn't see it. When did you
Check
email?
maybe an hour ago.
He says he's running 5 minutes late.
Okay.
I don't know that I had this junk mail problem. I bet it's in my junk mail.
I bet it is.
Mine
Microsoft.
gets stuck there too.
Okay, I will look.
Yeah.
So I remember like in the morning to check my junk mail, but then as the day goes on, I
Yeah.
forget it's my second inbox. Okay, I don't know why.
So we have only 3 board members tonight, and the third will be here in a couple minutes.
And we're starting with non-public.
Happy birthday.
That's next month.
Oh.
Won't be.
Won't be here August 3rd. Oh, good stuff. Well, I've been asked to speak on behalf of the select board, so if you have anything you want to say.
Thanks.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I heard you got your tour earlier today, just before I did.
Yeah, the space warehouse. Yeah. That'd be good. I wonder if we'll meet the new nurse on the 3rd.
Is it Julie Nolan, is that her name? Julie?
Yeah, Lenoy.
Lenoy.
Oh. As in Russ, Illinois?
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
assuming? Yeah.
Yeah.
one of his
Okay.
daughters.
Daughter, yeah.
Oh.
Sir, what's your name, just so I can put it in the record?
Julian Long,
Julian Long?
Long.
Long. Thank you.
So I'm playing in a chamber ensemble class, Gabrielle, and
Oh.
Julie's mom is in it.
Oh, yeah, what a sweetheart. I've met her at the farmer's market.
It's a busy family.
Well, it's the other daughter that helps Joanne.
Right.
Helps
Jenny,
Julie.
is that right?
What was
Jenny.
Jenny?
Jenny Blair, yeah.
I didn't know she had.
I didn't know she helped Joanne bring.
No, sorry, the vegetable, or you said the farmer's market.
Yeah.
Yeah, Joanne Lucas,
Yeah, well, they like partner,
Yeah.
because she's also a farmer.
yeah.
And a potter.
Oh,
These young people don't sleep.
yeah.
So have either of you had trouble with your Outlook sending emails and then never getting to your recipient that you know of?
Junk mail.
So-
Microsoft has changed.
So
its-
my stuff might be in their junk. mail.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's happening to me across the board,
Yeah.
apparently with Jim too.
Okay. Yeah.
In fact, I can look and see.
Yes,
that.
Maureen asked me for you to check if one of her messages to you actually wound up in your junk mail as well.
You know, I haven't checked it since at least noon. Let's see.
I heard Emery enter the parking area.
He
Oh,
can't
good.
sneak up on anybody.
Is he in the big truck?
Well.
Does he have a small truck? I
Does
don't
he
know.
have a small one?
Does he own a bicycle? I don't think so.
Okay, oh my God, I have so many in my, there it is, Jim. Please share this link and, okay. I'm sorry, I didn't see it.
That's okay.
Did the cloud strike issue hit the town at all?
No,
No.
no, we were really unaffected. No, it's been, although I have a friend who's supposed to have surgery on Friday, and the
Oh, the
hospital
hospital's
canceled. Really bad.
Something happened to Microsoft's entire suite of Office apps. I was using Team to try and connect with a webinar last Thursday, a planning board related webinar. Couldn't do it.
And was that the software glitch?
I have no idea.
Probably.
But yesterday, I did the same thing with the road safety webinar that the state ran. Exactly the same protocols, exactly the same software, no problem whatsoever.
Yeah, probably was the software thing. Oh boy, there's so many emails.
I won't take it personally if somebody doesn't respond.
Well, I was getting all grumpy with my auditor because they just weren't responding.
Yeah,
So this has been going on for 5 weeks.
yeah, that's about when this started.
Yeah, and so we have a ticket in to our tech team with Microsoft.
All rise.
Hello. Okay.
5:37.
Look at the
It being 5:37, I call the select board meeting to order. Are there any changes or additions to the agenda?
There is one AP addition in the amount of $226.98. That's it.
I make a motion to go into non-public under RSA 91-A:3 2C Session 1 and RSA 91-A:3 2C Session 2
Second.
at 5:38 p.m. Roll call vote.
Did you say yes?
There, yes.
Roberts, yes. We are now in non-public at 5:38 p.m.
Printed out your email as well.
Short as possible.
Just say a few words.
Yes. If it's a hot day, we wanna
Yeah, get
get people
inside.
out of there.
These two things go together.
The sirens.
Oh,
I
They-
have a copy
I
of the
have-
study. That's just, that's a draft report, it's not detailed.
Okay, let me get this meeting up and running.
Excuse me. Keats, could I give you some things for the record? About the Page Hill Road. thing,
Okay,
And
yes.
I put my thoughts down so they'd be in the record. And Mr. Forcier has an actual traffic study, which is kind of interesting.
Okay, great.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Do we know which one it is anymore?
Well, I do, but it usually, when it connects, it goes up to that 9.
Oh,
triple
yeah,
X.
yeah.
Close this. This wheel's just.
Go.
Fix it.
Yeah, I'll plug them.
The owl also.
I haven't seen it for a while.
Sorry?
The owl also.
Oh, it's plug it in.
I know.
Thank you.
So sorry, I missed those.
There's another one coming up the 31st.
Of August.
No,
No,
July.
No, gotta have more. I can't make that one.
Okay, well,
Are you do the
Audio.
cooking?
Probably.
Yeah, some of the menus were great.
yeah, we did the cooking.
I mean, you.
It was,
Some of them.
usually you just have to tighten the wire.
Oh, okay.
I'm not come out, am I all set to come out of
It's in joint
non-public
effort.
anyway?
Yeah.
I make a motion to come out of non-public at
Great.
6 PM.
Second?
Roll call vote.
You say yes?
Yes. Roberts, yes. 3 yes, 0 no. We are now at a non-public at 6 o'clock.
The minutes sealed.
Minutes are not sealed. Thank you. We already did changes and additions. Moving on to new business, we'll start off with the Tamworth Community Nurse Association final building report with June April. So,
Final, you'll all be glad to hear that. Well, after 2 years of planning, preparation and fundraising, followed by just 9 months of construction, I can say we are finished. Some tidying up to do outside with some planting and decorating inside, but the building is done. We are a little bit under budget, under the construction manager's budget, which is great. And one thing I want to do is to thank the select board and the entire community for support and patience, especially with our disruption and the noise that was necessary to get this done. The main purpose of the building, of course, was to improve TCNA's ability to deliver healthcare services to Tamworth residents. But we hope folks are also pleased with some of the peripherals that we were able to include, and just mentioning a couple. I think this is an attractive and energy-efficient structure on the town lot. It looks really nice. We have now 43 paved regulation parking spaces where we had 29 cramped spaces before. Extra parking lot lighting, improved handicap parking and access. We put in the conduit for the EV stations, although now we learn not enough. We built the interior stairway for servicing the equipment upstairs here. And don't forget, we have a conference room that can be reserved by other organizations. And the over 800 square feet of vacated space that can be repurposed for the town's use, which seems like all a good thing. I'm sure we'll find some flaws and some complaints, but overall, I would have to say, from my point of view, it turned out really, really well. Our grand opening is set for August 3rd, a week Saturday, and it will be very brief, because Carl's speaking. Very brief remarks and ribbon cutting at 10 o'clock. And it will be followed by building tours and some nice refreshments from local vendors. And there will be representatives here. They're all very excited, from our major funder, the Governor's Office for Emergency Relief and Recovery, and the Community Development Finance Authority. These are people we might want some money for projects later on in the future, so let's be nice to them. Anyway, we hope to see you there. I hope you've all got invitations. And that is it. This is my final report, very short. And I just will take any last questions that you might have about the project, and otherwise I'll get out of here and do this more important business. Good?
I think we're good.
Yeah.
Good to go.
Thank you
very
so
much.
much,
It's
Julie.
a beautiful building.
It is
You did a
really, it
wonderful
is really
job.
beautiful. I hope you'll meet the architect on Saturday.
It's great.
It's beautiful, it's functional, it's totally energy efficient. The solar panels were put in service on July 11th, and they're producing, I mean, yeah, I can see it online, it's all hooked up online. They're producing enough energy to meet our, assuming we have, you know, a couple hundred sunny days through the year. We meet all of our utilities, including heat, HVAC. So come around and get a tour anytime. So thank you folks so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Oh, I won't say I'll miss being here.
Have
Thank
a great
you.
night.
Bye, June.
No questions?
Nope.
No.
Moving on to the health officer order to clean for map 209, lot 8.
I believe you have read the order. And I need your authorization to send it.
Do we have a motion? Do we need a motion?
Motion to.
Yep, I make a motion to clean map 209, or send out the order to clean for map 209, lot 8.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Did you say yes?
Fair yes?
Roberts, yes. 3 yes, 0 no. Moving on to the Traffic Safety Committee Charter discussion. So, we had the traffic safety concerns with Page Hill Road that we've talked about over the last few meetings, it seems like, and there was a change to the speed limit that we voted on, and then come to find out we needed a traffic study done, and we didn't go about that we didn't go about changing the speed limit the correct way in that sense, so we had to change it back to 35 miles per hour, and take down the no through traffic sign as well. So I will entertain any discussion from the public about the committee that's wanted to be formed for the road study. And then we also have, I will share.
Yeah, I wonder if we should.
Yeah, I'll read this.
You've all heard.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
read it first.
So the Tamworth Traffic Safety Committee. So the Tamworth Select Board has issued a call to the community for volunteers to sign up for a traffic safety committee. The committee will be charged with looking at overall road safety and improvement in the town of Tamworth, including but not limited to lowering the risk of accidents, lowering road speeds where needed, and reviewing road safety issues for cars, pedestrians, and other users of the road as the committee and the select board deem necessary. The committee is required to research and understand all applicable and local state laws and regulations in their deliberations. All recommendations will be reviewed and deliberated on by the Tamworth Select Board, who have the final authority to make road-related decisions. The committee members will be appointed by the Select Board and will meet on a regular basis as deemed appropriate by the committee to achieve the goals as set forth by the Select Board. Each member of the committee will assist in conducting the work of the committee and attend committee meetings. The initial commitment is to a 1-year term unless the committee and the Select Board mutually decide the committee should exist for a longer period or permanently. If so, members of the committee will be appointed for a 1-year term annually, in accordance with RSA 91-A:1-A. This advisory committee to the Select Board is a public body and therefore is required to schedule and post the meetings, allow the public to attend, keep meeting records in the form of minutes. The committee would nominate a chairperson. The Select Board asks that the immediate focus on this committee will be to look at the Route 16 corridor from the southern to northern Tamworth borders, with specific focus on high accident areas such as White Lake State Park entry, the Route 113-16 intersection, and the area along Lake Shikorowa. The committee will be charged with working with the Lakes Region Planning Commission, LRPC, the New Hampshire Department of Transportation, local Tamworth departments as needed, and the Squirrel Lake Conservancy. The committee will be expected to lead the grant writing process with support from the town administrator and the select board to ensure that the town's needs are included in the LRPC 10-year capital plan. In addition to the Route 16 corridor, the select board charges the committee with overseeing a road engineering study as required by state law as they work to remedy the sharp increase in the traffic and speed on Route 25, 113, Tamworth Road, over Page Hill Road, including its use as a shortcut connecting Route 25 and the intersection of Route 113 and 16. The committee will seek an input from the select board and the town council as needed to ensure the road engineering study complies with the requirements of the state law. The committee will obtain any available background information from the select board's preliminary investigation of these issues. The committee will look at additional roads that may present traffic safety concerns when requested to do so by the select board. In addition, the committee may, in its discretion, look at traffic safety concerns raised by residents provided the committee reports its findings to the select board and seeks approval of the select board to proceed with an in-depth study or propose remediation. So now I will entertain the public to get their thoughts and ideas and on the road study committee or the Tamworth Traffic Safety Committee. Anybody wanna
start?
Yeah.
Okay. I volunteered early on so that we could really hit the ground running. The scope of the committee, as you just described it, there's a great case study in the town of Gilmanton. They just completed a part of their 10-year plan, a road study for their entire town. I think they have like 8 or 10 stations with the Lakes Region Planning Commission. They presented the town with a road study report. Their chief of police looked at the results and made some safety determinations for different points in town based on that data, and they made some changes and enacted them. So it's a really easy plan to follow, and I think we can emulate that situation here in Tamworth and accomplish our goals with great success going forward. The precipitous for me being here and getting involved, of course, was that I live on Page Hill Road. And I think a number of us feel that you guys made a correct and legal change to the speed limit that was felt almost immediately during that week that it was. And because we did have a week, we were able to use that week to compare data for the volume of traffic and the speed at which that traffic travels, the period of time before the change was implemented, and the period after the change was implemented. So, also because we wanted to hit the ground running on this particular issue, I did contact a GIS travel planner, an engineer that specializes in this exact type of road study. He provided me with a report from TomTom Analytics. They do traffic analysis, a database that basically incorporates your handheld devices, in-car GPS systems, and satellite systems to have extremely high detailed traffic data that is actually a bit more detailed than the New Hampshire's own motor vehicle detection units that they have. I presented a rough draft of that road study, and you guys have a copy of it. But I think some other people can elaborate to the board's previous 2 decisions based on that road, and take it from there. Somebody else wants to.
Thank you. Does anybody else want to have anything to say about the? Yes.
Can you state your name for the record?
Yes, sure. Judith Reardon. I live on Page Hill Road too, and I had been very happy about the temporary 25-mile-an-hour speed limit because I walk from there, our dogs and I walk from there down to the Chicorowa Park, and I've been doing it for 40 years and have noticed recent increase in traffic quite a bit. Excuse me. Sorry. So I did do some research on, oh, this is embarrassing. I don't have any disease, I promise. It's a postnasal drip thing officially. So I did some legal research on whether traffic study is defined anywhere in the statutes or in the cases or in regulations of DOT, and I didn't find anything. So to me, the kind of work that Mr. Forcier has done and the statistics that he and the police had ahead of time and the comparison that they did really qualifies as a study. And I know the Forciers have been in touch with the safety commissioner, William Lambert, who told them that, you know, this is pretty much a town decision that the state doesn't second guess. So I'm thinking when people worry that, I saw in the minutes some statement that the town can't keep breaking the law, I don't think so. I don't think the DOT will take the task, and I don't think that the, you know, that for some citizen to sue because the speed limit is inconvenient or not according to due process is probably a pretty remote danger, or a little less remote, as if somebody gets injured on Page Hill Road that they'd want to figure out some way to sue the town. So to me, if you could keep to put back the 25-mile-an-hour speed limit while working with the DOT and the traffic committee and so forth, it would really make things a lot safer. I've heard from people about people who walk all over Page Hill Road and have close calls and didn't have close calls that week that the speed limit was up. When I drove over Page Hill Road to come here, I noticed that a couple of people were walking a dog uphill from the Tamworth Village, and by going 25 miles an hour I could go safely around them, whereas going faster, I was going more like 35 when I approached them, and it didn't feel safe compared to 25 miles an hour going around them with some car coming up the other way at the same time. It's not a wide road. So that's my thought, and I put it in a letter so that you have it in the record.
I also have that communication with Mr. Lambert from the New Hampshire DOT, basically where I detailed that the situation. He said that, in his own words, he knows Page Hill Road very well and he uses it often traveling from Conway to Concord. Why does he do that? Because he's cutting through our town like everybody else. But basically, in this communication, after detailing everything and saying that I'd like to approach the town, this is prior to your previous decision, it's like back in May. So he said, I recommend that you reach out to the town of Tamworth to express your concerns and initiate action to address them. I'm afraid that there is little the state can do to proactively on a Class 5 highway under local jurisdiction. So basically we're saying, I've made this recommendation before, and there was nothing that the state could do, and I suggest you guys go ahead and
Thank you.
take it up with the board of selectmen.
Thank you. Yes.
Are they gonna have a town email address so that people can contact them?
Sure.
Yeah, we can do that.
And budgetary funds, will they be going through the selectmen's budget if they have to go?
Have not thought that through.
Well, you said legal and stuff, so I'm assuming that that would go through the selectmen's legal fund and stuff for right now. 'Cause
I assume
For
so.
now, for the time being, yes.
And then just my third thing, I believe the question wasn't the speed, but the marking of a not a through road that came up regarding
Right.
that. And secondly, during that time frame, people only came up as far as Turkey Street and then buzzed down Turkey Street at 60 miles an hour because they weren't going all the way through. So when you're looking at what you're changing for roads, you gotta look where the offset will be, that they're gonna find it. Because traffic on Turkey Street increased immensely during that week. So it's like they got all the way up to the hill and they said, never mind, we're going to go come the other way and get out to 16, so.
Yes.
I meant to say that I agree that not posting it not a through road would be good. It'd probably be good to omit the not a through road thing because I see why that's desirable, but it's kind of really hard to define. Not open to trucks over X tons, that's defined, you know how much tonnage the truck weighs, but what's a through road? You know, do you have to prove that you live there? Do you have to prove that you're going to the public house for dinner? The not a through road, I know some towns do it, but it seems like a not useful sign to put up compared to just the 25-mile-an-hour speed limit.
Yep. Yes.
So, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Jim Diamond, and I'm also on Page Hill. Hey, and I spoke last week on this topic by Zoom, and or our last meeting rather, and I want to convey my disappointment with the decision that you made. I think the previous decision was the correct one, as Brian has said. I have provided you actually with a copy of the RSA itself and the New Hampshire General Court traffic infraction list. So violating the no through traffic sign is neither a misdemeanor nor a traffic infraction. In fact, you cannot find a reference to it anywhere within the text of that. So look at that link and see. There's also no reference whatsoever to local traffic only being violated. So these are courtesy signs, apparently. And it really offends me that a neighbor, who I don't want to say, just because we interact, but for one reason or another, interpreted this as it wouldn't be the scarlet letter, but maybe the black letter. Going through the Page Hill, it's no crime. It's not even a traffic infraction. But out of courtesy, when you go through a region, like that section over there on College Avenue, is that it?
College Road. Over
College Road, yeah, it's exactly
Holdings.
the same sort of thing. You know, you don't go racing through there because there are people and kids there. Well, I feel the same. And it was a relief to be able to, you know, walk up to the driveway and not feel like I was, you know, in terror. Or coming home, you know, from a rehearsal late at night. I don't have to act like I'm in some Ben-Hur scene, you know, racing to get up the hill before the damn huge truck comes down my way. Honestly, it's terrifying at times. And in winter, it's 5 times worse because the shoulders are narrow, because the plow is not just a few feet off the road. You know, they do a great job. Richard is a hero by my standards, but it's a very tough hill to plow. I think everybody in town knows that. And okay, so the RSA very clearly says, and I'm quoting, Okay, you do either an engineering study or traffic investigation. And as Judith said, that word traffic investigation is not defined anywhere. Anywhere. So it is what you make it to be. And it's for your town's safety and purposes that you devote those resources. And it says very clearly, if you don't have the resources to do it, you can hire somebody to do it. Well, didn't we buy the state or rent the state meters to actually measure traffic frequency and volume and the speed at which traffic was traveling? So we have those data. It was a good study. It was a real, legitimate traffic investigation. So I think you actually had legal grounds to actually make the reduced speed limit change. And, you know, our person who objects, I feel that they elevated their own feelings about the safety of those who actually live on the road. That's not right. That's just not right. That's not, as far as I know, it's inconsistent with the values that I've seen in this community so far.
And that person who's concerned is not here as part of this committee.
I'd rather leave names out of it.
Yeah, that's all right. Well, we appreciate everybody's, you know, words and you're taking your time to look into this. You know, we'd probably, I think we should wait to make a decision again on this until we have a full board.
And-
That's my feeling.
And the committee has met
Yeah.
and makes a recommendation.
Yeah. So I think that we shouldn't take any action on it again tonight, so that we're not. I hate just going back and forth on things. I'd like to go.
I'd like to strongly urge the board to take to be as speedy on this matter as possible, because we saw a demonstrative change in the direction that we wanted it to go. The data doesn't lie. The 85th percentile roads on Page Hill, speeds on Page Hill Road are 45 miles an hour. If you think it's safe to drive 45 miles an hour instead of like the 3 mile an hour reduction that we saw over that 1 week period, you can wait to act on that. But we saw a demonstrative change, and we can affect change immediately. And I urge you guys to do that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Just another set of data, if this group, this committee actually forms, is, it's not directly related, but it would give them data as well, is the Lakes Region Planning Commission 2 years ago? 3 years ago? Did the amount of traffic going over into the Grove from Route 16.
Oh, right.
They did a whole
Yeah.
series, and we do have that data here that would not necessarily tell you, it'll tell you what the volume was coming off of 16 going into the Grove.
Right,
And it was quite
right.
substantial.
I participated in the New Hampshire Department of Traffic Safety listening sessions. Yesterday I was one of that group. And I was surprised. I did discuss the narrows and the public access turnoffs higher up on the lake. And of course, there is no turning lane on any of that stretch of highway, and there's a great deal of fast-moving traffic. And the moderator of the discussion seemed to be under the impression that there actually were turning lanes on that stretch of highway. So I wrote to him and disabused him of that notion, and I also heard back from Dave Jeffers at Lakes Region Planning and Bill Lambert. Okay, so they're all in communication with Alex Moot over something to happen by near the Grove. And Alex has Neely's report from 2006, I think, that actually...
There was one done later that Lakes Region Planning actually put
Sure,
monitoring
yes.
tables down for
Yeah.
what, I think it was a week or 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And they compiled the data and
Yeah.
submitted it to the town. And it should be on the computer the last I knew, but
So these guys are now in contact with one another, and I'm hoping that they'll be able to contribute to the road study committee as well.
Well, it seems like the next step, in order to get it moving, is for a committee to be formed.
Yep.
So that they can make these recommendations, and then we can act on them.
Which is what that document.
Right.
Did you have something else, Judith?
I was just going to ask about the process for getting the committee underway, and I still think it might be great when you have a full board to
Yep.
revisit whether to change the limit while the committee's working.
Okay.
Um,
I guess it would be a matter of people coming forward and saying, yes, I'd like to be on this
Well,
committee.
We have a list.
Yeah, we have
and
a list.
Oh, we
the-
have a list,
we're-
good.
Yep.
And we're signing the appointment forms tonight, so the
Oh,
committee will vote
excellent.
tonight.
And people get notified of that are on the committee, and then they,
Then I
Decide
guess it's
when
a
to
matter of
meet.
setting up a meeting.
I'll work on getting everybody
To
together.
form the committee, we just need to make a motion to form the committee, which I will get
Yes.
to here momentarily.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna kind of move on to the volunteer
Well,
appointment.
first, I
Well-
think first make the committee and then.
Yeah, I will.
Okay.
So I make a motion to form a Tamworth Traffic Safety Committee, or Tamworth Traffic Safety Committee.
Second.
See.
Any
Do we-
discussion? Do I need to include number of, in the
Members?
past we've put in like a range of how many people can be on the committee, and
That is not in this, so you might, we have.
so discussion, we're in that process.
Yeah.
Do we want to do
Right now, we've
3 to
had 6,
5, 6 to 8?
right now, we've had 6 volunteers.
Mhm.
I wouldn't do any more than 6
Yeah.
6
Yeah.
to 8, I don't think.
Just to reiterate, my wife is actually going to withdraw from, we feel like
5.
it's-
Okay.
2 votes for one household is just not something that.
Okay, and I mean, I'm sure the committee meetings would be public, so, I
Mhm.
mean, somebody could join in and speak their piece, I'm sure. I rescind my motion, and I make a motion that we form a Tamworth Traffic Safety Committee with no more than 8 volunteers.
And I will second that.
We should change it
Odd
to
number.
7 so we have an odd number.
Yeah.
So
7.
7 volunteers. There we go.
So there's room for a couple more if they
Yeah,
appear.
no more than 7, so
Mhm.
we'll do that for now. Roll call vote.
Did you say yes?
Very yes.
Roberts, yes. 3 yes, 0 no. Now we will move on to the appointment to the Tamworth Traffic Safety Committee. I make a motion to appoint Rich Collins, Brian Forcier, Karen Holstrom, Sienna Kaplan-Thompson, and Linda
Medeiros.
Medeiros. Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Did you say yes?
Very yes.
Roberts, yes. 3 yes, 0 no.
Who was the second?
I was.
Oh, nobody seconded it. No.
Oh, did
Carl
you
did.
second?
I post seconded.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Okay, so
Sorry.
you motioned to approve those 5 people and
Yeah.
Bear seconded.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you all for coming in this evening. I think we can move on now to the EV charging stations with the Energy Committee Chair, Gabrielle Watson.
Thank you. Thanks for putting me on the agenda. The Tamworth Energy Committee's goal is to support energy innovations, reduce pollution, and save residents and town money, essentially. Supporting residents and visitors who have EVs is consistent with our goals and our mission as a committee. There are, as we know, many models of affordable electric vehicles. The lifetime cost of ownership is lower than owning gas cars in general. They enable people to save money, have cleaner air, and putting in infrastructure that supports that also attracts visitors from the outside, where the national fleet is increasingly moving towards having more and more electric vehicles. Tamworth is in what's known as a charging desert, meaning that there are no charging facilities around other than private charging facilities for many towns around. The closest ones are up in North Conway. There's a new set that has gone in Ossipee, but for visitors coming to Tamworth, there's really no options available. When the Tamworth nurses were embarking on their project, they had, as June April was speaking earlier, many amenities that they added, which would be of benefit to the community, such as adding 13 new parking spaces in the parking lot, and putting in conduit that would be ready for when the town wanted to pursue putting in EV chargers. So this is what we're hoping to do now as the Tamworth Energy Committee. As part of this, we've been doing some research into the benefits of EV charging stations, and we've come across a study that has demonstrated, with 4 years of longitudinal data, a 13% increase in monthly business sales in the local vicinity of EV chargers after they were installed. Slightly more for lodging facilities, but also true for retail facilities as well. We have hosted an EV and classic car expo in conjunction with Club Motorsports, and we're planning a field trip to the New Hampshire's only used EV vehicle business, which is down in Northampton, later next month. So for people who are interested in buying a used electric vehicle and qualifying for a $4,000 tax credit, that's, pay attention, we'll be putting out news about that. And we have begun to interview vendors or potential partners for installing EV charging infrastructure here in the town lot, mainly so that we could get educated about what's entailed. What are the technology options? What are the business plans that different operators function under? What would the cost be to the town? What would the revenue stream be for the town once they're operational and we're charging money for them? And the aim is, so far we've been in touch with 4 different entities, and we've had one came and gave a presentation earlier this week. We've got another one scheduled for next month, ranging from ChargePoint, which is a national network of charging stations, to Coco EV Charging, which is a local entrepreneurial entity who put in the Ossipee chargers, Enphase, also a national business, and then entity that called Supernova, which is a billionaire financed startup, which is just getting underway and has an interesting business proposition that has been presented to the county as well. So we're looking into different options. Our intent would be to put out an RFP at some point once we figure out more precisely what we want and need, and then review the bids and come to the select board with a proposal about what we think is the, what are the options and what might be the best option based on the analysis that we've done. We understand that we would probably need to bring a warrant article to town meeting, particularly if there were any outlay of money, even if it's reimbursed by grant funds, so that can be approved by town meeting. Also, for EV chargers, because they're a complex piece of equipment, you really want a maintenance contract with a provider, so that entails an ongoing outlay of expense, even if it's paid for by user fees. And that does, my understanding, require, I think, a 2/3 vote at town meeting because it's encumbering future investments by the town. But our goal ultimately would be to be installing some chargers in the far corner of the parking lot before summer next year. So that's our goal. What I've come to ask you today with regard to the EV chargers is to approve the initiative to be exploring the installation of EV chargers in the parking lot, which is town property. I'm also asking for your approval of applying for a grant. The New Hampshire DOT is seeking funds from the federal DOT, which would enable them to give grants covering 80% of the installation and costs and the first years of the maintenance projects. So it's quite a generous grant if they're able to get it. And as part of that grant, they're needing to demonstrate there are some communities that are essentially shovel-ready. And because of what TCNA has done and the research that the Energy Committee has done, we are in that category of being essentially shovel-ready. We have plans, we've thought about it, we're in the process of investigating the process, subject to select board approval. And then the third thing that I'm asking the board is if you approve of the initiative and you approve of applying to grants, for grants to also sign a letter of support for our application to New Hampshire DOT, which I have drafted.
Questions?
What's the deadline for the grant?
The grant deadline is New Hampshire DOT needs to submit it, I believe, in early August, and they're asking for us to submit it by the end of this week. So it's a worksheet, really, what they've asked us to fill out.
So do we need a
Sounds
motion?
like we need 3.
Yeah. I'll make 3 motions. I guess we'll vote on them one at a time. But the first motion is that the Tamworth Select Board is supportive of the concept of EV charging stations in the town office parking lot, that the installation of which would be funded not by town funds.
Second.
Discussion. Would the, I guess my only question is, would the, isn't there already like a conduit ran out there for the charging stations, but would there be any would the asphalt have to be cut back up anywhere to install the charging stations?
My understanding is no, typically the charging stations, you
Are
want
off the
them
edge.
kind of away from where the cars
Okay.
park. In fact, you need to install some bollards like they have
Yeah.
by the post office, which you'll notice do get some contact with cars. Because you don't want somebody driving into one of the
Yeah.
charging stations. So the conduit is laid under what's now grass. If we go with the New Hampshire DOT program, they have a minimum because they're wanting communities to sort of plan for the future. So they're asking communities to put in 4 charging ports. So it'd be 2 stations with two ports each.
Who's asking, the state, did you say?
The New Hampshire Department of Transportation. And that's under a federal program. Again, it's very generous, 80% funding, and then we would be seeking grant funding for the remaining 20%. And actually, there's under the Inflation Reduction Act, there's a 30% basically cash back that comes back to communities, which is called direct pay. As municipalities, you don't have a tax burden, so what they do is you expend the money and then they write you a check for 30% of what you've expended. So it would be fully covered under the New Hampshire DOT and the Inflation Reduction Act direct pay provision.
And to utilize the charging station, people use a credit card like going to a gas station.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I didn't think there'd be any money change with the town. The town shouldn't be involved.
Well, the town will be connecting up to the electricity to service the stations, so there will be a new meter for the stations, and that electric bill will need to be paid. And our understanding and the research that we've done so far is that the revenues that are coming in for the station cover the electric costs, and then there's probably going to, depending on where we set the price, additional revenue generated that would come back to the town in order to pay for a service and maintenance agreement, provision. So the monies would flow through the town.
Okay. Yeah, I hadn't thought that through.
Yeah.
The
It's
town,
just really like a gas pump.
is the town, we're not like able to profit off of this though, right? I mean, we
The
can't.
town, the host can set the price wherever they want. Typically, what hosts do is, well, you have the price of electricity and then they'll add 15 cents or 30 cents on top of that per kilowatt hour. And depending on where you set that price, then it will generate revenue for the town. So this could be a revenue generator for the town, depending on how we set the
Okay.
price.
And can the price be like, obviously it'll fluctuate with prices of electricity and stuff, I would imagine, over time.
Yeah,
Is it like would it be a process, would it be, can the board just vote to change that? Or does it have to go through does the town have to vote on that?
that's a good question, and we're not far enough down the
Okay.
research to have an answer for that.
Alright, I guess that's, any other discussion? Did you
No.
make a motion? Yeah. Roll call vote,
Did you say yes?
There, yes.
Roberts, yes, 3 yes, 0 no.
Second motion is that select board approves the grant application to New Hampshire DOT to fund installation of the chargers.
Approves the writing of it.
Yes.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote,
Did you say yes?
There, yes.
Roberts, yes, 3 yes, 0 no.
The third motion is to approve a letter of support for the grant to New Hampshire DOT.
Second.
Any discussion?
Nope.
Roll call vote,
Did you say yes?
There, yes.
Roberts, yes, 3 yes, 0 no. Thank you.
Do you want me to read the letter for the record, or
Got it here.
it's in the record?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's in the
Yeah,
record.
we can,
Yeah.
It's kind of long. I would read it.
Okay.
perfect. Thank you.
It says very nice things about Tamworth.
Oh, that's good.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you for
Thank
coming
you.
tonight. Moving on to the administrator report.
Bank balance is $5,393,037. I just keep chugging away on all the things that are in this folder. Michaela's doing a great job. She's learning a ton and quickly. Things are all going well.
Moving on to the signature file. Make a motion to approve the meeting minutes for July 11th, 2024.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Did you say yes?
There, yes.
Roberts, yes. 3 yes, 0 no. Make a motion to approve the non-public meeting minutes for July 11th, 2024, session 1 under RSA 91-A:32C. Session 2 under RSA 91-A:32A.
Thank you.
And session 3 under RSA 91-A:32C.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Did you say yes?
There, yes.
Roberts, yes. 3 yes, 0 no. I make a motion to approve an intent to cut for map 419, lot 1, access road Hackett Hill, as well as an intent to cut for map 413, lot 19, access road Meter Road.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Did you say yes?
There, yes.
Roberts, yes. 3 yes, 0 no. I make a
Which is that on this?
no, for sure.
That's fine, go ahead.
I make a motion to approve the Eversource petition and poll license 701-6Y Depot Road. I'm assuming it's the pole number.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Do you say yes?
Very yes.
Roberts, yes. 3 yes,
I
0
think,
no.
you know, they're gonna run power into where the development is going on there,
Oh, on
Remember
where the
Harold-
big lot is.
where Harold sold those lots.
Yeah. Make a motion to approve the notice of limitation of liability for erection of a building or driveway on a Class 6 road, map 405, lot 10, sublot 2.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Do you say yes?
Very yes.
Roberts, yes. 3 yes, 0 no.
Those
We
you've
did
all
that. I
approved.
make a motion to approve the payroll in the amount of $58,949.47.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Do you say yes?
Very yes.
Roberts, yes. 3 yes, 0 no. I make a motion to approve the accounts payable in the amount of $359,522.90.
I did not write up a little list for you this time, so I'm just pulling it up. Of course, the big check is to the school.
For 306.
Yeah,
The school payment was over 300,000 and three
retirement fund, 12,000.
retirement.
We have those are really the two big ones, I'm not seeing any other.
What is the school payment exactly?
Looking for it right now.
That was at 306.
I'm not finding it. $306,126.
$306,126 to the school. That's the big portion. And $12,000 to New Hampshire retirement.
Yep.
Cash used to date $6,054,505.91. Select board update.
I missed the last couple meetings. Hope you all had fun. I was away when I got back. I met at the transfer station with an architect to talk about the options for a new bathroom at the transfer station. Individual I met with was the architect that did the design for the townhouse fire escape. I liked his work, and he's right in Moultonborough, so we agreed to meet at the transfer station. And we talked about the possibility of the new bathroom being in a new building that we might build, or in the existing building where the compactor is. It could be, I didn't think it would fit, but you could actually build an ADA compliant bathroom with a eye wash station in the existing office. It's big enough. And it's cheaper that way. I'm not necessarily recommending that, but it does fit there. Another option is to build an addition on the back of the compactor building. In some respects, that's easier, because if you build it in the existing office, you have to cut through the slab to put the drain lines in. But I was surprised that it didn't fit. That architect, Phil Bennett, he is actually acting as a sub to Sanborn Head on some of their work. I spoke with Sanborn Head about the concept of the bathroom, where it would go, and Steve Schaefer's been involved in these discussions, as well as has TSIC, Transfer Station Improvement Committee. Sanborn Head is going to put together cost estimates for building a bathroom, and also building a building to do recycling in, or as a workspace for the existing transfer station. It has no indoor workspace. So we haven't certainly decided, we being the Board of Selectmen, what kind of building we would build or how big it would be. But Sanborn Head did show that a new building could fit on the site where the current wood chipping operation is done. There's plenty of room there to build a building. So they showed 2 conceptual buildings on a plan that they sent to us June 13th, I think it was. So I've asked them to do a cost estimate for the larger of the 2, and also a cost estimate on a bathroom as an addition to the compactor building. Because I think sometime soon we need to decide, okay, where's the bathroom gonna be? Where's the scale gonna be? And what type and size of building are we gonna build? The original concept of completely redesigning the site and doing away with the compactor building and putting that all in one building turned out to be too expensive. So by trying to simply use the land that we have and try not to move any dirt, just build structures, I think we can build what we need for the money that we have. We just haven't figured out where's the bathroom go and what kind of building do we build. As I reported earlier, we did meet with an individual from the main scale company. We have a good idea on the cost of a scale. That's why we haven't talked much today about the scale. We know the scale we're looking at costs $60,000. That's just for the scale. The concrete work and the wiring and everything else around it could be another $50,000 to $60,000. So a scale is $100,000 to $120,000 for a 40-foot long truck scale. It could go in various places based on, I think, a presentation that Steve made a few meetings ago. Probably the best place for it is as you enter the gate in the lower area down below. The trouble with that is it needs to be staffed. So if you build a scale there, you split the staff. So that's a big decision then if we put a scale down there. I think going forward when we rebuild the facility, we need cameras everywhere. Everybody need walkie-talkies so you can keep an eye on things and people can communicate even if they are split up. So I think we have important decisions ahead of us in the coming weeks so that we can have a plan together by the end of this year and build it before the end of next year. We had a TSIC meeting on the 17th, the same day I met with the architect. They're gathering some additional information. We've reached out to the NRA to give us come here either in person or in Zoom at our next meeting on August 8th so that we get a better handle on operating costs in the future, because that's the thing that I think we still don't really know. And in particular, can small towns like us really do recycling? Because we're a pretty small town, we don't have a lot of volume. So the commodities that we produce, there's not a lot of revenue generating with low volumes. So I think getting that kind of technical advice from that organization, because they do this every day for a number of communities across New Hampshire, they can tell us whether or not this is something that small towns like us do. So I think that's going to be a really important conversation to have on the 8th. And in the meantime, I have reached out to Moulton Borough and Ossipee to get copies of their request for bids for when they install their scales, so we can get moving on the scale. So it's really three things: a bathroom and wash stations for our employees, a truck scale so that when people come with bulky waste and construction and demolition waste, and perhaps brush if we want to charge for that, that people would be weighed and they'd be charged for that. And third is some type of building to do as a workspace and as a recycling building. So we need to try to have decisions made this year. So I think that would be a good conversation we're going to have at our next meeting. Only other thing I would mention is the townhouse windows. The first phase of that project is done, so Gene Chester did rehab 3 windows facing the parking lot. It was a lot of work. It was above the original estimate that was given. So Gene and I have spoken, and we have a revised estimate for the second phase. So it's more than $1,200 per window. It's a lot of effort, particularly, it's upper and lower sash. The upper sash was painted in and took a lot of work just to get it out of the building, so you could then go and then rehab it off-site. So I've talked to Gene and I've indicated to her we probably wouldn't do 3 windows in the second phase. We'd do 2 to keep our overage down. All this was originally funded 100% by the state Moose Plate program. We'll have to fund a little bit of it, even if we just go down to 2, because it costs more than we thought. And I've spoken to the Moose Plate grant program, and they say that's fine with them. They think it's a good idea. So the next phase, the next 2 windows won't be till this winter. So probably wouldn't be done till early '25. So that's all I got.
Carl?
I've got nothing.
No update from me either. Just, talked to some people from the public, the last couple weeks about, the traffic concerns and stuff, but, I've talked to Richard Roberts, the road agent, a couple times, but nothing really. So, moving on to public input. Do you have any public input? Yes.
I have a question about the agenda. The consent letter for the TCNA sublease.
Sorry, that should have been reduced, taken off.
Oh, okay.
I've jumped the gun, and I think they want to present it in September.
I approve of all things TCNA related to my spouse. Thank you. And thank you very much for your actions regarding the EV charging station. I think that's really forward-looking. I'm glad we're doing that. That's significant. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Becky?
Has the hazardous mitigation plan been completed? Because I haven't seen
We've
it come before
completed
the
all the
board for
meetings.
signing it.
We've completed all the meetings, but I haven't received the final draft, so.
Okay, that leads me to 2 other things. Do we know, have we submitted, since Governor Sununu declared April storm a disaster and Biden approved it, have we submitted anything or have an
Zach
idea
is working on it,
what we might get back from FEMA?
yeah.
April storm of.
Oh,
the
This
April
year.
Fool's.
Snowstorm.
Yeah, the snowstorm. I was thinking rain. I was
His
like,
message
And
was,
then-
oh, this year we might actually get some support.
Because I watched many meetings from many different towns and can back me up on this. I was interested that a discussion occurred in another town that they were doing some deep roadside ditching and dumping in a lot of gravel. And that was all going to be paid for by FEMA because it was hazardous mitigation. So I didn't know if maybe somebody in the town might want to contact, it was Ossipee at their last meeting, am I correct? And because they were doing it to alleviate flooding, it was being paid for through a hazardous mitigation grant, so just something to
Richard
look
and
at.
Zach.
Yeah.
yeah, I'll, I think one of us maybe could call Richard and run it by him, and then Zach might go look into it.
Because we do have some roads that flood out, so
Sure.
just, if you
And
can
I
get it
think-
paid for, you might as well
Yeah.
get it paid for.
And I think there's been discussion about increased culvert size as well, that,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm all for it so long as somebody
Well, I was
pays
just
for the
surprised he
culvert.
said that they were ditching down and putting, what did he say, 3 inches, I think?
Probably
of
3 to
gravel
6,
Yeah,
down
3 to
there?
6.
3 to 6.
Yeah.
And
that's
they were
been
getting
done.
it paid, and they were getting it paid for through a hazardous mitigation grant because it's mitigating their flood.
That's been happening on some of our roads, that project, but I'm sure we've been paying for it.
I'm sure.
So-
we have.
Yeah.
The second thing is, Keats had sent me a thing about webpage migration,
Mm-hmm.
and that's for the government site, which we're not on. Eventually, we hope to get there, but it did bring up that trying to clean up the town webpage so that you go, I mean, we have minutes on there, I think, since 2004.
Mm.
So I've got the records retention
Mm.
policy, and if you don't mind, I'm gonna start cleaning up the webpage, but there's been a lot more posting and stuff, so my hours have gone up a little bit, so I just wanna make sure the board's aware of that, and they're giving me their blessing to clean up the webpage a little bit more
Mhm.
regarding the the records retention. Because as long as the records are here,
Yeah,
you
they
can
don't need
take
to
them
be
off the
posted.
webpage, but what we found is a couple of years ago, that was like 4 years worth of planning board minutes that had never been printed off and put in their books. So before anything goes down, we have to make sure we've got hard copy here.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so let's talk about that.
Yeah, we will.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to let you know that my hours have gone up a little bit because there's been a lot of posting the last 2 months.
Mm. Mhm.
And I will start a web page for your new committee,
Great.
Do we,
committee page.
do you know how much visitation we get You get,
I don't know how much visitation, I can find out, I haven't ever ran that. It's hard to do because we're not on the government program, we're on what's called Engage Civic,
yeah,
which will eventually migrate. I'm trying to get a time frame, but the first thing they do is say, start cleaning up, like any photos you have, download them to preserve them and stuff like that, because some places just posted their web pages. But I do know we've got, I think it was did I say 1,800 email participants? Or 1,500?
Yeah, something like that, 2,000.
who signed up for the listserv?
Yeah, so anytime we have something like the road work or a road closure or something, I just send it out as an email.
If there's an easy way to track the visitation, I'd just be curious, you know, is it up, is it down, is it, you know, I'm just curious.
I will see what I can find out.
Thank you.
So, do you know about this weird thing with this link here?
Oh shoot, my dog just started to bark at this moment. This is Maureen, Maureen Diamond. I hope Chevy will be quiet for a few moments. I just wanted to say that the issue of the bathroom at the transfer station is a very, very important one. Melanie Streeter often refers to the town meeting in 2021 where this first came up. And I think I'm the person who was absolutely mortified to learn that our employees had to work there without that kind of access, for Pete's sake. So please do whatever you can to expedite that particular part of obtaining the transfer station. I'm very grateful for all the volunteer hours that have gone into this. I just hope that the select board can find a quick solution to getting a bathroom and eye wash station and those important things there for our valuable employees. I've had fabulous, fabulous service from transfer station employees, including Brian recently and Chasen, I'll mention his name. I really appreciate it. They're fabulous. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes, Joe.
So, this is a technical question about the website. I don't have any problems at my desktop machine, but on both my iPhone and iPad, when I click on town maps, I time out. I don't get to the Aegis website.
Probably because of the loading on your setups. The length of time it takes, the maps are the longest length of time and require the most memory to load into anything. I know it shouldn't be that way. I've tried it on my phone too, and when I went back to my company on the Android, they said it's the amount of data it's trying to feed in. Depends on what your speed is.
Okay.
You may time out on it.
Okay.
I know it's a pain because I've tried to pull up something when I want
Yes.
to show somebody something and it wouldn't allow me
It
to
just
do
may
it.
not let me do it, yes, with my data plan. Yeah, I understand. That makes sense.
I do have one other question in regards to the bathroom. And yes, Maureen, I'm with you. I was there at that meeting about the bathroom. When you say the back of the present station,
Yeah,
are you talking where the porta potty is now?
Nope.
Off the, you're talking
in the
headed-
mid-back in the grassy area.
No, adding to the building, the existing building that's there.
Yep.
Are you talking back when you say we might put an addition on the back? Is that where the porta potty's sitting now?
Nope.
You're talking the gravel portion where they park their vehicles going out
Nope.
that way? Then I'm confused as to.
There's grass behind the compactor. If you're throwing your trash in.
Oh, you're talking down?
Down. Right.
Oh, because see, when we had originally looked, we had talked about, because the gravel was right there, real easy to
Yep.
dig, and that's why the well went in there,
Yep.
and that's where the septic was going that way, was to add on to the length of the existing office
To the right. Yep.
where the gravel is
Yep.
now.
Yep.
So I wondered if that was a,
I guess anything's a possibility. I think that that eats up the travel way to get vehicles around. So there's not as much room there as you think.
well, they park their cars there, the employees park their cars there now.
Yep.
So that area is not used by people for traveling or anything.
Not for the public, but vehicles do go down there.
They do?
Yep.
Okay.
So everybody here agrees the bathroom is our #1 priority. Everybody. We, the select board, needs to decide where it's going to go. So I'm hoping that happens real fast.
And I just want people to realize, because I asked Ellen this after reading the minutes, it's not mentioned, is that you are still gonna have a pool emergency shower added into this bathroom.
Their eye wash stations come in various forms, and that's the form that we would do. They also have portable ones, which is what we have now,
Right.
which makes us OSHA compliant. But it would be a shower type. So in this bathroom would be, I assume, a sink, a urinal, a toilet, and the shower eye wash station. And our lawyer tells it has to be ADA compliant, so that's what it will be.
Okay.
So it makes the thing a little bigger, but you can fit that in a 10 by 10 room, maybe even smaller.
Thank you.
And what the architect told us is that if you're building a building, it makes sense to put your new bathroom in the new building. It makes a lot of sense, then you make sure it's properly plumbed and insulated and everything. But that bigger building, I think, has been harder for us to decide where it's gonna go and what it's gonna be. So we may build an additional compactor building to get the bathroom advanced faster. I think it probably makes sense to, let's make all the decisions now, and we can implement them as we go. But sometimes bigger decisions usually are harder to make than little ones. The only thing that's gonna be easier, I think, is the scale, because that really does stand alone on itself.
So in my previous life, I was a chemistry professor. And in our labs, every single one of them, we had a safety shower.
Yeah.
And it would usually release some large amount of water, like, you know, like 100 gallons, almost instantly. Because if you spilled caustic or acidic substance on you, you wanted to get it off right away.
Yep.
And I imagine that circumstance happens every now and then at the transfer station, because they have a jug of whatever, and they don't know what's in it, and they spill it and go, oh my God, that stings.
Yeah.
And they've got to,
And that's this type of eye wash station is
that
that.
will be compliant, yeah, and,
Yeah.
but it will also inundate them if they want?
Yep,
That's great.
Yep.
That's a real step forward.
yep.
Is there any other public input?
Yeah, I got a couple things to say. I'm here in my role as the junkyard liaison officer, and sort of just a courtesy visit. Keith said I should probably check in every now and then. So a couple things, not much happened this winter, but since then I have done, unaccompanied I might add, the inspection of a licensed junkyard up there on 112 Maple Road. And then Wildfana submitted that, just because that's an annual thing, apparently. And that's been paid for. I did also meet with Ed Matone, the groundwater protection guy, who's also getting up to speed, sort of like I am, just to make sure we weren't running cross purposes and or duplicating anything like that. And he's got a million other businesses, so I said maybe put some of the ones that I'm visiting more often lower on the list until we both kind of get our footing. So, anyway, we've communicated a couple times. I also did kind of a summer visit, let's say, to a particular property off of Turkey Street as well, and just letting them know that some kind of documentation of vehicles leaving the property on a regular basis would be a great thing to be able to report. So I've got kind of working on that, and I think down the line perhaps we'll have that sort of report, just to let you know that we're whittling away at things, and kind of starting with some of the bigger projects, so that maybe then as we take on the smaller ones, that they don't keep getting pointed out as, well, what about those guys? So anyway, that's the general thing. So I'll do, with your permission, I don't need to be put on the agenda. I'll probably just come in every couple of months and say something like that.
Okay.
Does that sound good?
Sure.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming.
Obviously, if you have other expectations, let me know. But yeah, so far it's progress, but slow. But I've also kind of reassured some of these individuals that that's kind of what we're looking for here. Not like, you know, we want to see it cleaned up by the end of the week. It's not going to be anything like that. So
We just want to see some progress.
yeah,
Great.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
sure.
Is there any other public input?
I just wanted to say hi. My name's Julie Long. I just took on the role of Executive Director for the Arts Council of Tamworth, and
Oh.
I'm super excited to be here. I think Lisa Thompson's very excited for me to be here as well. And I'm sure I'll see folks around town.
Welcome.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much. Welcome.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks.
Did you move from, are you moving to town or?
Probably not. I currently own a house, and I'm reluctant to sell and try to buy a new house. But I will be around pretty frequently.
Great. Nice to meet you.
Of course.
Is there any other public input? Hearing no more public input, I make a motion to go into non-public under RSA 91-A:3 to D, Session 3 at 7:14 p.m.
Seconded.
Roll call vote.
You said yes?
Barry, yes?
Roberts, yes. 3 yes. You're no, we're now in non-public at 7:14 p.m. Thank you everyone for coming in tonight.
I was waiting for Ed.
Oh,
Right. We're going to that again.
25th.
Yeah.
7:16.
I make a motion to come out of non-public at 7:16 p.m.
Seconded.
Minutes are not sealed. Roll call vote.
Did you say yes?
Barry, yes?
Roberts, yes. 3 yes, 0 no. Anything else from anybody? Motion to adjourn.
See you
Give me
next
gavel
month.
back.
at 7:18.
7:18.
Skipped one memory.
Did I?
It was a hard one to find.
Okay.